Soak in all those moves, haters.
Let them talk, Joe. We're here.
A brash Irish fighter with a gift of gab and a knack for knocking everyone's lights out. That combination has proven to work in the sport of MMA.
They're all dressed like me. They're all trying to talk like me. They're all trying to beat me. Everyone in the game wants this fight.
But it hasn't worked as well for Ian Garry.
Hey, I'm winning. Undefeated. Living the life. Keep talking. Keep talking.
We need to talk about the growing hate Garry has been receiving. Considered by many as the second coming of McGregor, Garry failed to receive the love McGregor did in his heyday.
Celebration, you ring back home, you ring your wife. Baby, we done it. We're rich, baby. Conor McGregor made us rich.
So where did he go wrong? What made the fans turn against this undeniably skilled fighter? Join us as we discuss the sad story of Ian Garry's dramatic downfall. Born on February 1st, 1998, in the vibrant city of Dublin, Ireland, Ian Garry discovered his love for combat sports at an early age. Imagine a young boy, fueled by passion, throwing punches and perfecting his kicks in the martial arts world. That was Ian Garry. Ian began his journey in traditional martial arts like Taekwondo and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but it wasn't long before he felt the call of the cage. At the age of 10, he picked up boxing and fell in love with the sport. It was around that time that McGregor was at the peak of his popularity. Inspired by the Notorious One, Garry pursued MMA and added judo to his arsenal. He became a black belt at the young age of 18. After attending university for a couple of months, he dropped out to focus on martial arts. At just 19, he stepped into the amateur ring, and by 21, he made his professional debut. Little did he know, this was just the beginning of his meteoric rise. Fast forward to 2018, and Ian Garry's professional MMA career exploded onto the scene. He showcased his skills while competing in renowned promotions like Cage Warriors, leaving a trail of defeated opponents in his wake. His fighting style? It perfectly blends explosiveness, technical prowess, and an unyielding drive to dominate. His first professional fight came at Cage Warriors 101, where he won against James Sheehan via unanimous decision and earned the Fight of the Night award and a contract with the promotion. Garry accumulated 5 more consecutive wins before challenging for the Cage Warriors Welterweight Championship. At Cage Warriors 125, he defeated Jack Grant via a unanimous decision to become the Cage Warriors Welterweight Championship, a promotion where his hero Conor McGregor held championships as well. The pinnacle of Garry's journey came in July 2021 when he signed with the Ultimate Fighting Championship, the UFC, a dream come true for any fighter. And on November 6, 2021, Garry made his UFC debut, delivering a thunderous first-round knockout against Jordan Williams at UFC 268. The momentum continued as Garry faced Darian Weeks, Gabriel Green, and Song Keenan, showcasing his incredible skills and securing victories. The path to the top of the division seemed clear, and he was set to go through the path of superstardom McGregor had laid out before him. However, things took a turn for the worse. At UFC 292, Garry would turn a lot of fans against him. He was slated to face Jeff Neal, but ended up squaring off against Neil Magny due to Jeff's health issues. Ian Garry found himself under the brightest lights with a new ranking and a chance to face a veteran like Magny. During this event, Ian starts playing the heel character, and the entire dynamic of his likability starts to shift. It all started in one of the first press conferences. Like many young fighters facing veterans, Ian expressed confidence in his speed, youth, and the new generation of fighters. But here's the twist. It seemed like he was trying too hard to channel his inner Conor McGregor. In an embedded episode, Ian's words raised eyebrows.
The guy that travels and learns and has that thirst and gets that.
He talked about the game and the thirst for knowledge.
You just have to have this thirst for knowledge to be the best, or else.
As if he were a seasoned veteran. It felt forced and disingenuous. Something about Ian's attitude during the whole fight week rubbed people the wrong way. But this was just a spark of hatred, and fans were still excited to see the young prospect go against the tried and tested veteran. That was until Ian poured gasoline over the spark. The tension between the two fighters escalated when Ian took a stretch of acclaim about Neil Magny. In a press conference, Neil mentioned giving his son a whooping to teach him about life.
There's a whooping that you give your son now, like to kind of teach him life a little bit.
Ian twisted these words, accusing Magny of being a child abuser.
Right, to ever put your hand on a kid, ever discipline anything.
That was a very heavy accusation to throw around. Ian's attempt to frame Magny as a villain didn't quite stick. Instead, it backfired, and most fans found themselves siding with Neil. The artificial bad blood peaked, setting the stage for an intense battle inside the cage. When the bell rang, Ian showcased his skills with nasty calf kicks and precision striking. The fight was dominated by Garry's prowess, leaving little room for doubt about his abilities. But what happened after the fight was what truly caught everyone off guard. Instead of burying the hatchet, Ian continued his tomfoolery. Flipping off Neil Magny and talking trash without reason, Ian seemed determined to paint himself as the antagonist. The post-fight actions overshadowed his striking brilliance, leaving fans questioning the authenticity of the rivalry, and many claiming the Irishman was trying too hard to emulate McGregor. There was no genuine bad blood between the two fighters. Ian's attempts to artificially create a narrative turned him into a very dislikable guy. It was a missed opportunity to celebrate a fantastic victory with grace, and instead, he left fans with a bitter taste in their mouths. The second reason Ian has fallen out of favor with the fans was when it came to light. Ian was kicked out from Team Renegade, the gym associated with the always formidable Leon Edwards. When asked why, Ian shared his side of the story, claiming he was no longer welcomed because, in his words, Leon doesn't want any insecurities or doubts on his own gym. These were bold words from an unranked fighter at the time, especially considering Edwards was the reigning champion and pretty much on top of the world. Ian's assertion that his skills were making the champion insecure raised eyebrows. However, Leon Edwards quickly responded, clarifying that it was more about a clash of cultures. According to Edwards, Ian's talkative, social media-oriented nature, penchant for bringing cameras everywhere, and consistent tardiness to sessions didn't align with the culture at Team Renegade. In an official statement, Team Renegade emphasized that while occasionally they allow fighters from the outside, it's a privilege, not the norm. Entrance is refused if a fighter doesn't contribute positively to the team culture. It was clear that Ian Garry's nomadic approach to training, while yielding excellent results, didn't quite fit the mold Team Renegade was sculpting. A side note, even fellow fighter Paddy weighed in, claiming Leon knocked out Ian in sparring and suggesting he didn't deserve a title shot. But this situation wasn't the first of its kind for Ian. The echoes of a similar incident reverberated from his time with Cage Warriors. Team KF released a statement after Ian's last Cage Warriors fight, insinuating that he no longer abided by the gym's values of loyalty, honor, and respect. Ian, they claimed, became uncoachable after hiring a new manager. Despite repeated warnings, he was kicked out of the club for good. Now, if you put the pieces together, it's not hard to solve the puzzle of who's the problem. Strike 3 was a war between Ian Garry's wife, Leela Machado Garry, and the always outspoken Sean Strickland. Now, going to war with Sean Strickland is never a good idea. It's like stepping into a hurricane, unpredictable and potentially destructive. The drama unfolded in a series of Instagram videos where Strickland claimed Leela was a succubus, manipulating Ian in what he described as a gold-digging relationship where she held all the control. Strickland framed these accusations as an attempt to save Ian Garry rather than attacking him. This marked the birth of the Save Ian Garry movement. The situation escalated to the point where Ian and Leela threatened legal action and defamation claims. The nature of the relationship between Ian and his wife raised many eyebrows and turned many fans against him. It turns out, Ian Garry took Leela's last name, and together, they combined their last names to become the Machado Garrys. According to Ian and Leela, this decision was made to give their children the same last name. But this is where it gets interesting. Leela Machado Garry authored a book on how to be a WAG, which stands for wife and girlfriend. This is essentially a term associated with gold diggers targeting young athletes. Leela defended herself, claiming the book was satire and created during her coverage of the 2010 World Cup, providing a satirical look at the lives of footballers' wives and girlfriends. But the fact that Leela is 40 years old, while Ian Garry is 26, made many people question if that was the case. This whole ordeal is even more weird because Richard Cullen, Leela's ex-husband, has been Ian Garry's nutritionist since 2021. Rumors circulate that Cullen may have even lived with the Machado Garrys, although Leela has denied this on social media. Regardless, the fact remains that Ian's ex-husband is his nutritionist and placed him on a vegan diet. This was enough for most fans to make their conclusions and side with Sean Strickland in the Save Ian Garry campaign. While individuals have their reasons, these facts paint a challenging picture of Ian Garry and his relationship with Leela. This series of controversial events and facts about Ian within a year has made him one of the most disliked fighters in the UFC. Despite all the hate, Ian undoubtedly has the skills to turn all the haters into fans. He is still undefeated at the top of his game. The sky is the limit for the 26-year-old.